So in this video moment, we're going to speak about how to stop the attack on your voice. I can speak from experience because my voice was attacked for 26 years, almost all 26 years. But in the midst of that, I was winning the war on my voice. What was I doing? The Holy Spirit revealed to me that when I would spend time with him, this was in the last 10 years of my marriage, maybe even more, I would journal. I would still was spending time with God. That's one big thing. But I would journal. And all of a sudden, it was like, I don't want to sound woo-woo, but it was like, phew, I heard the voice of God. And he'd say, listen to the vine dresser. And I would just type out what he would say. I maybe arranged the words afterwards. Okay, Theresa, you've used that word one too many times. But that was just like God speaking to me. I did share a few on Facebook, and they got an amazing response. So then God said, so through a mentor, you need to write a book. Okay, I'll write a devotional. Listen to the vine dresser. I'm so glad, because imperfect action is better than no action, because if I hadn't written the book, they'd be in my computer somewhere. So I had an interview with an amazing woman, Dr. Linda P. Jones, and she was telling me about the attack she had on her voice with a narcissistic mother and she went through so much. And as she was telling me that story, she said, Theresa, I was trying to write my book and I was from my journals. So she journaled, she spoke into a microphone and into a recorder, and out came a book called Soul Survivor. So she was winning the war on all the attacks she went through by journaling, by writing. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a writer, but this is the key. This is the key. I'm sorry, I got 2 minutes in to tell you what the key was. When you learn, when you go do something that's lined in your very DNA, and the Holy Spirit comes in, and you win the war on your voice when you learn to create the way God creates. You can create the way God creates in being a really good mom. You can create the way God creates in your writing, in your journaling. You can create the way God creates in your singing, in your business. When you learn to create the way God creates, you can stop the attack on your voice. Or like I looked back and I was getting those, but I was still in the midst of cacophony of a marriage. And God reminded me, though, I could have wasted away in my depression, anxiety in bed, but I got up. I had coffee, Jesus, and the vine dresser. And I was fighting for my voice, even though it was a tough fight, but I constantly fighting for my voice. So you can too. Create the way God creates in the midst of whatever you're going through. He'll tell you the way to create. And then watch transformation come. Watch your identity come up from that, creating the way God creates. Like when I was doing that journal, I was creating the voice of the Father. You're meant to win the war on your voice. So remember, create the way God creates.